My sophomore year of college, I became a resident in a retirement community.
Through interviews, I wanted to discover where meaning was found in the lives of a previous generation.
Instead, I entered their story.
I was born November the 12th, 1931.
No, I was born in 1934.
I was born in 1923.
I was born in 24.
Mother had all us children at home. Doctor came out and delivered us.
We were all born at home, no hospital.
I was born and raised on a farm.
Middle of the road, dryland farm. Dad always kept it up.
That was a very innocent time of my life.
I did not realize that it was the Depression.
Everybody was poor, but we didn't know we was all poor.
Dad said that he made $5 a day.
And my dad lost the farm.
I mean, food was scarce.
Kept together eggs and worked in the garden. As I said, milked the cows.
We grew corn and wheat.
And we didn't even have electricity.
I wasn't very much for doll play.
We made mud pies and playhouse, you know.
We would go out in the haymow and climb up the top of the barn.
I'd go real quiet across there. And I'd get to the apricot tree that was right there, and I'd skinny down the apricot tree, and I'd take off to the northeast so Mama couldn't see me. And I'd go play, play, play.
I went to school at Bluemont School.
Country school set on a little knoll out there. And nobody had to go more than 3 miles.
Walked about a block or so down the street to catch the bus to go down to Lincoln to school.
I started at 6 years old.
Well, we had one teacher that taught all the kids.
They didn't have kindergarten, so you started right in first grade.
4 first graders a year. No, 5. The year I started.
I wanted to play in the big swings, run under them with the 7th and 8th graders, and I got hit on the back of the head with the swing and split my head open, you know.
I went to high school, Royal High School.
Oh, there were a few sparks flying in 7th and 8th grade.
I just thought she was the prettiest thing that ever came down the road.
Crazy Jack Nesper. He just must not have a brain in his head.
I played football in high school.
And we met and danced, and sometimes we went to have Coke or coffee, went down to Aggieville.
Go get a hamburger or something afterwards, and then go.
Well, anyway, went on through high school, and
I married high school sweetheart.
But once you think you're in love, you don't think all this in detail.
When he got his orders to go overseas is when we decided to get married.
how good looking he was in his Navy uniform.
It's 1944. I was 21 years old.
I was 22.
I was 19 and a half. Decided on Sunday to get married on Monday, and he had to leave on Tuesday.
Oh, the war was so terrible. He went over about at the tail end of the Battle of the Bulge because that's when we lost so many soldiers. They were short-handed again. And I was just thinking the war was over. I was ready to die. Mom came in. She said I was 3 months pregnant with our oldest daughter. I had decided I had something to live for at the time.
Drop that bomb, he said. Our early 20s, we had 3 children.
Raising a little girl, Mary, my little girl.
I had never given any thought really to what the responsibilities of fatherhood were.
That was a packed chunk of time of my life.
Because back then, you didn't rely on your parents for anything.
Nobody ever called me by my first name in the office.
He'd been through World War II, and he had GI Bill, so he was going to school. And I had to stay home.
And you either became a nurse or a teacher. So I took my teacher training and I became an art teacher.
Cooking and washing and ironing and all those good little things that a housewife does. When I grew up, the men were always fed first, and then the children, and then the women.
Then my kids were moving on and into college.
Anyway, when you're older and retired, we'd travel 300, maybe 400-mile days. And
went on trips and traveled. And
it was just so enjoyable to just spend more time smelling the roses.
But our health and everything began to slow down.
I had fallen on the ice at home, couldn't get up.
He lost his balance and fell.
I fell and broke my hip.
Stumbled on the chair and he fell and broke his arm. So I immediately called 911.
So boy, I called and said, Meadowlark, I want to come as quick as possible.
And I ended up here.
The first thing I do when I wake up is I have to stick my finger, take my blood, take your first shot of the day. Then there's the pills, combing my hair, brushing my teeth, eat my complete breakfast. Probably sit down in a chair and fall asleep. Go down to eat at 11:15. If there's anything to do in the afternoon, then I do that. Supper is sort of the same thing. After that, play Rummy Cube. And that's the end of the day.
I didn't know the stroke was coming.
When you're a caregiver for a long time, it runs you down.
Her short-term memory was just gradually going.
He went to sleep that night and never did wake up.
And he died the last part of January. He just died in his sleep, basically. He just looked just like he always did. But you can't get him back.
That was hard, because I really, really missed him. Boy, I missed him. It just hit me that way. He wasn't here. But
I had a real good friend come and say to me, you know, Marilyn, there's a fine line between laughing and crying. And when you cry, no one knows what to say to you. But if you laugh and make a joke about you or your spouse or something in life, then we all laugh.
You must be able to do 3 things.
To love what is mortal.
To hold it against your bones.
And when the time comes,
to let it go.
Let it go.